Andrea from St. Paul, Minnesota. I was listening to what Triple H had to say about WWE on Stephen A. Smith's podcast. For him to place blame on fans and say that the product is supposed to just be fun and that people can sometimes take it too seriously makes me laugh. Can you imagine if David Stearns or Steve Cohen said that about the Mets? Well, they can't say that because there's nothing fun about the Mets right now. So I didn't get a chance to talk about this last week. Triple H was recently on the Stephen A. Smith show, and he was asked if he had a message for fans about the WWE product. And I lifted the quote. So this is what he had to say. I think that we bring an event to you that is always going to be exciting, that is always going to surprise and delight you. And we bring a little bit of something for everybody. So there's the entertainment component of a Danhausen. There's the serious component of a Brock Lesnar and a Roman Reigns and a Cody Rhodes, a Rhea Ripley and a Becky Lynch and a Jade Cargill, where there's that serious nature of it. But the storylines keep you hooked. Well, I mean, that's debatable. And if you haven't watched in a bit, always tune in because the one thing about WWE is the story never ends. So when you come to the end of the Knicks winning the big game, in our world, the next night it starts all over again. And there's always fresh. There's always new. I got to stop there. Oh, my goodness. Always fresh and always new. I have to compose myself here before I move on. There's always something big happening. So even if you've missed out for a bit, you can jump right back in, be a part of those stories, and be a part of those epic moments. So there's something for everybody, and that's our goal. That's what we try to do, is be a little bit of something for everybody. The other aspect of that is, I think that people lose perspective of sometimes, is we're just fun. And sometimes people take it too seriously. Sometimes people get too caught up in it. But it's there to entertain, man. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world. If you just want to turn off for a couple of hours and tune into something cool that you can just lose yourself in and have a good time, WWE is the place to do it. And if you've never seen it live, I'm telling you, come to a live event, come to one of our PLEs, come to a TV. There's nothing like it in entertainment. And I know that this angered a lot of fans because it sounds very similar to what he said to Peter Rosenberg.
How about what we just got from Sami Zayn?
Sorry, Pete. You're never going to live that one down. But in that interview with Rosenberg before WrestleMania last year, Triple H famously opened his answer with, "This is going to sound defensive." Which when you open the line with, "This is going to sound defensive," it's because you're being defensive. And then he said, "I wish I could tell people to fuck off being a critic. Be a fan. Go watch this and be a fan." Which only diminishes legitimate criticism of the product when you lump everyone together like that. Like him having an axe to grind with, the Meltzers and the Fightful types, spoiling surprises, which is something he also addressed in that interview, that sort of thing. Like I can totally understand his frustration with that. But that's been a part of the wrestling business literally for decades, okay? There just wasn't any real social media platform outside of RSPW and message boards in those early days. But for as long as Meltzer and Wade Keller have been around there have been spoilers. Behind the scenes news has been reported on for those who wanted to seek it out. It's just a lot more ubiquitous now than it was back then. It's one thing to be upset about that, but to say fuck off being a critic makes him sound thin-skinned and insecure. Because everybody who was glazing him when he first took the job from Vince, right? He went through this honeymoon phase until people started realizing that this shit's not as good as it was before. And he didn't like hearing that. And part of that was Vince being gone. People were happy to get someone different in the position of head of creative, someone who had praise heaped upon him for NXT Black and Gold. There was a lot of optimism here. Oh, he's going to bring that to the main roster. This is going to be great. But as time went on, people started to sour again on the product. Could part of it be that he has different masters to serve and TKO sticks their noses in where it doesn't belong? Sure, could be. But at the end of the day, the buck stops with him as the chief content officer, as the head of creative. And when people are bored with the product or they do something that people don't like, you're going to hear about it. And we hear him say it all the time, him and Nick Khan, right? We don't pay attention to social media. Social media is just a vocal minority of the fan base. And I say it all the time. For the people who love to say that, they sure do spend a lot of time talking about something that they claim has no real measurable impact on the product, except when it does. Because they absolutely pay attention to what's being said on social media. When he tells Stephen A. Smith, oh, sometimes people take this stuff too seriously, he's not wrong. We do. I admit it. I care way more about this shit than I should. And about things not making sense. Not everything is going to make sense at all times. It's pro wrestling, right? It's not astrophysics. But I also think it's lazy to use it as a catch-all for all criticism, right? Of anything on the show. Oh, it's supposed to be fun. Just watch it and have fun. Just be a fan. Well, being a fan means different things to different people. Genius. We all consume the product differently. Some people can watch it the way that they did when they were 12, right? Take it at face value, maybe watch it with their own kids. Don't pay attention to all the online chatter. You go ahead and yeet with Jey Uso when he comes out, sing Roman Reigns to the ring, and go about their day. Other people like analyzing things and dissecting things, or debating things with their friends, or listening to podcasts and watching YouTube shows that talk about wrestling. Maybe they're in the sports bubble. And so they do that with the NBA and MLB. They love the analysis, right? They love talking about it. That's fun for them, even when the shows themselves are not fun. You know how many people I have who watch the streams when I do them on YouTube who tell me, I don't even watch these shows anymore. I gave up on SmackDown, or I gave up on Raw. I gave up on Dynamite. I don't even watch the shows week to week, but I tune into your reviews because they're more fun. I hear it every fucking week. You don't have to take my word for it. You guys see it if you're there. You see it in the chat. You see it in the super chats that come in. I get that every single week. For some people, that's where they find their fun. They don't want to completely stop watching wrestling. They don't want to completely divorce themselves from wrestling because they still like it. Or they still love it. They may not love it that week, or they may not love what it's become, but they don't want to completely cut themselves off from it. So maybe this is their way of kind of staying in tune with what's going on, right? They can find their fun some other way, like watching people reviewing the shows or chatting with other people on social media, on X, on Reddit, on Discord, whatever it may be. Just because people consume the product in different ways does not mean that you only cater to one segment of the audience and tell everybody else to fuck off. By his own logic, movies and TV shows are entertainment, right? They're meant to be fun. So you shouldn't spend your time criticizing them or analyzing them or rating them. Just watch them and have fun. Do you know how dumb that sounds? People have been dissecting and debating TV shows and movies for years. This is not something unique to the wrestling business. The next time Triple H goes on one of these ESPN shows when they're promoting one of their upcoming PLEs for the fucking app, I would love for him to go on there and look at some of the people that are on set with him who were part of other debate shows on ESPN every day where they talk about different sports and they talk about different players and trades and games from the night before, and they criticize and they pick them apart. And I want him to look them dead in the eye and say, hey, why don't you just have fun? Why don't you fuck off and just be a fan? And see what their reaction is. Stephen A. Smith is one of the biggest offenders when it comes to that, right? In Triple H's eyes, why doesn't he look at Stephen A. Smith and say, hey, Stephen, I got some advice for you. Why don't you fuck off and be a fan? WWE right now is charging the highest ticket prices that they have ever charged in the history of that company. Are you telling me that those fans don't have a right to voice their opinion if they thought the show sucked or something didn't make any sense? Is he going to tell those people to fuck off too and be a fan? So I think we can all admit, like, sometimes we may take this stuff too seriously, but we do it because we are fans, even when we may not be fans of what they're actually doing at the time. Because if I didn't care about pro wrestling, I would have given up on it a long time ago. Long before I started doing this show or making a living at it. Do you know how bad those shows were if you go back all those years? When I wasn't making hardly anything, but I was doing it because it was fun. I was building the channel. I was doing the weekly show. My God, there were some terrible shows. It's a miracle I didn't give up on it back then. Look at how fucking terrible the Mets are right now, right? They're an embarrassment of a baseball team. They haven't won a championship since 1986. I can sit here and tell you this team is an embarrassment and still be a fan. because I want to see them get better and not be a punchline anymore. Sports talk radio is filled with people bitching and moaning every day about their favorite teams. I've never heard one general manager or team owner come out publicly and tell their fans to fuck off being a critic. Just smile and enjoy. If the man sounds defensive, it's because he is defensive. Because he wouldn't be saying this sort of thing if everybody was kissing his ass about how great everything is. So while there may be elements of truth in what he is saying, he still sounds ridiculous saying it.